Welcome to What It Do podcast. I'm your host, TJ. Everybody's going to call me Papa TJ. I'm going to be on the cast here with our son Chase, and of course my wife Kristen. We call her the Wifey. Hey Kristen, can you say hi?
Hi.
Say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
How about Chase? Can you say hi, Chase?
Hello.
All right, so we're going to do a little bit of history of what's going on with this podcast. It's called What It Do. What is that, Chase? What does it mean?
Well, I mean, the reason why we kept it with What It Do is because we want to be like more of a vast type of topic, but majority is just like trying to figure out like certain things that we pretty much enjoyed looking at, and then just pretty much seeing like fundamentals and all that, just basically just what it do and how things work and everything like that. So
basically, we're looking at stuff that, for example, how we did this podcast, right? So how we decided we were going to start doing this podcast, what research we did with it, and things like that. You may hear some background noise with our puppy, Max. He wants to be involved in the podcast, so we got a nice little puppy, so you might hear him once in a while, right, Wifey?
Yes.
So I'm going to get out of the Wifey's yes, no, maybe. Once in a while, I might get a yawn out of her. Are we going to get a yawn out of you? You can laugh into the mic. It's okay. So, Kristen, how did you decide that you wanted to be involved in this with us? No dead air. Come on, talk.
Don't have an answer for that.
Why did you decide that you thought, okay, I can do this. I can talk with you guys and hang with the boys.
It was pretty much, hey, come do this with us. Okay.
It's okay.
that's the way I remembered it. I thought you kind of just wanted to be involved in it somehow.
Well, she gave me money. I'll give you $20 if you let me do it with you.
No.
No. Okay. Or was that Chase? Did you give me money, Chase? No? Okay. Yeah. No. I end up spending all the money on this gear that we have. My God, it's like crazy.
That's what I thought of when you said that I gave you money, is I gave you permission to purchase equipment.
Yeah. No, I didn't need permission. I just have to ask forgiveness afterwards, right, Wifey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tuck into the mic, though. So, basically, we said, okay, let's do something as a family. Mm-hmm. We can do it like once a week or so. Pick out a topic that we want to do. I think it all came down to about 5 years ago.
I think roughly 5. Yeah,
what were we doing at that time that we decided that, hey, Chase, you're going to do something? I think it had something to do with our streaming at church, or.
Well, I think it's started with that of just seeing kind of like the background of the streaming at church, because I was kind of the main person that was kind of helping putting it together and sending it through, and for some reason that kind of interests me to a point where I actually looked at the program of how it worked and that, just to see how that worked, and then trying to continue with stuff like that.
Yeah, you were like 16 then, right? 16, 17?
I think even a little bit younger than that. Yeah, probably like 14.
Yeah, you're at 26 now?
Yep.
Man, you're old.
It's just, yeah.
That means if
Which
you're old,
makes
it
you
means,
older.
Yeah, it makes me older.
I almost said something, but it's like, I don't know if you get mad at me at that.
No. Remember now, PG, right? This is a no cuss words, Kristen. Wifey, no cuss words in this podcast, because we got our pastors that listen to it once in a while. And also our grandson might listen to it. That's why I can call Papa TJ. So he's going to get on there and go, Papa TJ's on the podcast, Mama. Alexa, play Papa TJ. Whoops. Alexa, stop. I got to remember. I got to be careful.
Oh, it's still going.
Oh, you better tell her to stop.
Alexa, stop. No copyrighted stuff.
Yeah, no copyrighted stuff. That'd be problems. So, about 5 years ago, Chase and I were actually, our pastor came up to us and said, hey, how can we start doing the live streaming? This is before the live streaming was an issue for COVID, things like that. So Chase and I went through and looked at all of the stuff that we needed, and saw a lot of podcasts, saw a lot of video casts, YouTuber stuff of how to set up streaming, things like that. And you said, it'd be kind of cool if we did a podcast of pick a topic of something that we thought was pretty cool and figure out, well, how do they do that, right?
Well, I mean, with the podcast portion, I think another thing that made us want to do all this is because of the fact that we talk so much late nights and be like, man, we should put this on a podcast. So
Yeah, we're such interesting people that we should be sharing this with the world. Right?
What a gift.
Yeah, right, wifey? And she speaks. Oh my God. So yeah, I think Chase came to us and talked about, what it was that he was going through to try and figure everything out, and how you did find a YouTube channel, right? Or on Discovery or something. There was a channel or show that you watched. It was called.
Oh yeah. They're actually still playing it now through another program, but it was called like How It Is Made.
Yeah, how was it made? Yeah.
And another one was more food based, is Unwrapped. But it's like it's for some reason that made me realize that I like learning how things are made and they do type of stuff. So
Oh.
yeah.
Well, he even had interest even before then, like how things are made, how things are put together. He put back his sister's Barbie doll back together with a spoon handle.
Yeah.
Pop the leg back on for her.
And not to mention all the different things I had to take apart and then get yelled at to put it back together.
Well, I remember when he was like, 2 or 3 years old, and he somehow got a hold of a butter knife or a screwdriver, and he was taking the outlet apart, right? Remember that on that highway road? We looked over, and I see Chase squatting down in his diaper and no shirt on, and I see plumber's crack hanging out there, and he's going at something like, what is that kid doing? And he was taking apart the outlet. Why?
Unlike other kids that just stick it into the socket itself.
Yeah, why were you doing that?
I don't know. I guess I just wanted to see what it did.
So what did it do?
It came apart.
Yeah, came apart.
It got him in big trouble.
Got him in big trouble. I think the funniest thing is that he learned at a very early age what things do is when we were sitting in the living room and the TV kept going off and on. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
What was that? How'd that come to be?
I was sitting there. I don't remember what show I was watching, but then it wasn't that the TV was going on and off. The channel kept changing.
Keep changing the channel.
And I'm sitting there all perplexed thinking what is going on. And then all of a sudden you hear this giggling coming from behind me. And here Chase had figured out that the remote control for the TV upstairs also controlled the TV downstairs and was changing the channel.
And giggling about it.
Yeah. Because it was funny, her reactions. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, listen here. So yeah, that was at an early age. I thought it was pretty funny. I remember I was actually working down in Milwaukee time because we're from Marshfield, Wisconsin. That's why you hear that "yeah there, hey youper" sound sometimes.
Hey there, old there.
Yeah, hey there, oh there. So you may hear Chase refer to the wifey as Ma once in a while. Hey Ma, what's going on? What's for supper? Tell your folks I said hey.
Got the cod cooking or what there?
Yeah. So that's an exaggeration of what we sounds around here, but not too far off, right?
For certain phrases, yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know.
Yeah, you know. Yeah,
Especially
well,
the
it's a good
grandma,
thing
don't you know.
it's a good thing we don't have our daughter Ashley here because then we hear the part of the Wisconsin part of it, but then also the Milwaukee side of it, and then now she lives in Minnesota, and
Everything is
And yeah.
and that thingy. It's not what to do. It's that thingy.
Is that why your favorite movie is that thing you do?
That's one of my favorite movies, but not because of that. But I think hers is was the 10 Things I Hate About You with Heath Ledger. Was that?
that's one
I
of
think
them,
so, yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the things. We actually had a dog one time called Ledger,
Yeah.
based upon because we got the dog and it was Heath Ledger and she really liked Heath, and then.
I think that was even before he passed too.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
way before he passed. Yeah. But see, the problem is I also worked for a banking company at the time. So everybody thought I named the dog Ledger for Bank Ledger. And I'm like, no, that's not how we spelled it. And then when Heath Ledger passed and it was on the TV the whole time, our dog was freaking out because they kept saying his word Ledger, and thought we were calling him to the TV. Yeah. Now we got Max. Max is what is he? Is a Cavachou? What is that?
It was
Yes.
a King Cavalier Shih Tzu.
Yep.
A King Cavalier or King Charles What is it?
Yeah, King
I
Charles
just-
Cavalier.
King Charles Cavalier.
And a Shih Tzu.
And hey, watch your language.
I knew you were going to say that too.
So yeah,
And that's why you asked me, because you knew I was going to be the one.
well, yeah, wifey, of course I'm going to do that,
Cussing.
right? I can't tee Chase up for that one. Chase would be like, yeah, I'm not falling for that one. Good try, Dad. So that's probably some of the things that we're going to be looking at for the future here, is what we're going to be trying to dig into. And I know that Chase has been doing a lot of streaming on, what's the platforms you stream on? Twitch and
mainly just Twitch and YouTube, the old school classics.
what's the handle on that? Colonel something?
Yeah, Colonel Diggity. I know it used to be like ST Johnson for years, but I switched it pretty soon to Colonel Diggity because I thought it'd be a funny little tag and it sounds more interesting.
Colonel Diggity. Where's that come from?
That's actually a weird little thing. It's nothing really intelligent to put together. Really, I was just playing games with my friend before, and
What's your friend's name? Can we say his name? Has it got permission to do that?
I don't know if I do.
Oh, come on. I do. I asked him. He said he'd be willing to do something with us.
Right, but I don't know if he wants to mention his name right now.
Just the first name is fine.
Okay. Well, his name is Adam.
Yeah.
Great guy. But yeah, we're just playing games at night, and I do a lot of. I want to say it's a point where don't make people think that I'm trying to do this professionally, but I do tend to jokingly make like voices.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that I did jokingly is Solid Snake for the Metal Gear games.
How's it go? I'm putting you on the spot.
Let me just go through and explain.
Okay. All right.
Because we were just making fun of just putting random words together, and I just went, Colonel Diggity.
It didn't sound like it at all.
Like you even know who that is.
No, I don't. I'm old. I'm Papa TJ, man. I'm 55. I'll be 56 soon.
But I will admit, yes, it wasn't great, but it was just something fun we do. And then after I said that, just a Colonel Diggity, and it's like, okay, actually, that'd be kind of fun for a name for the channel. It's like,
Yeah.
do you think I should change that? And it's like, yeah, do it.
What does Adam's channel go by?
He goes by Black Hawk.
Black Hawk.
Yeah,
Like Black Hawk Down.
that's exactly it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what does he do normally? Just play video games, or do you got?
Yeah, he just streams games, says what he can ever really play on that. He hasn't been doing it for a while, but I do know he wants to plan on going back at some point. So.
Okay. So how did you guys get into that? I mean, what was it that you were watching, like Markiplier or something like that, or?
Oh yeah, quite a few channels. I know Mark was one of them, Jack, and all that kind of stuff, and just thought it's like, well, these people are kind of entertaining. I like to do more of the entertaining sides than just the games, and I kind of just want to do that myself because I'm a big fan of comedy, and eventually want to be like a comedian myself. And I thought maybe a good way to break out of my shell, because I used to be a very shy kid.
Very shy.
And doing this channel, I just wanted to use that to see if I can break out of it and then just do something for entertainment reasons. And one of the things to do is I get on my shelf with video games. So I can do that just for like the YouTube channel and that. Yeah.
So talk to me like I know absolutely nothing, because I do. I know absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Who were those? You said something about Mark and Steve. Who were those people?
Markiplier and Jacksepticeye?
Was it Jack what?
Jacksepticeye?
Jacksepticeye?
Jacksepticeye.
Septic eye. Okay.
Yeah.
Enunciation is very important. Especially with a deaf old man like me.
Okay.
I can't hear squat. You know, I got 40 plus years playing music in a rock band, so I'm lucky I can hear Wifey over here telling me to come to dinner. Right, Wifey?
Right. Sometimes he can't hear that either.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Like the other day, we sat down and Chase and I already started. You come out. When are you going to tell me that dinner was ready? I said, I already did.
I don't. Oops. Oh man, what did I do?
You have to forgive him. He's still learning his new little board. He's
Stop
putting
it.
Together. It's not wrong.
Stop it. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I had to play a little bit just so you know we do have sound effects on here at some point.
We just have to learn how to use them first.
Who's we? Are you? It's me. I'm over here, the one controlling everything. I have to carry the conversation. Not only that, but I have to also do all of the recording and the effects and everything.
Oh, you poor thing.
Well, what do you do? What do you do, Wifey? Okay.
Maybe
I
that'd
just-
be another episode for later.
I just got the look. I better stop. I've had that look before. It's not good.
Yeah, that's why a lot of times just jump in and try to help.
Yeah.
You know, diffuse the
We sh-
situation.
You need to jump a little quicker next time.
Well, they do it when I'm more around.
I mean, stop me before I get to that point. I mean, just say, Dad, stop.
I try sometimes, but you just keep going.
Well, that's
That's
how
what
life.
this means.
What's this mean?
Stop.
Oh, you mean with your hand going across the neck like that? Okay,
Yeah.
because people can't see you right
I
now.
know.
But you didn't do that. You didn't do it.
Can we move on to something else?
Oh, okay. So, I don't know where I'm going to go with this now.
I have no idea. That was quite the.
We were
sidetrack
talking
train.
about Markiplier and Decepticeye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
you seen those games and you started doing the whole. You said I can do that, right?
I want to try it at least. Yeah.
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 So did you end up buying a bunch of games, or did you start the Twitch channel? And how did you do? How did you? What was the first thing that you did to get that started?
Really just learned how to set up the channel. Did that, and then just whatever like games I had or free games I could play, and just try to record them, send them out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you have very supportive parents that helped you with things?
Like he's
Not at
gonna
that
say, like he's gonna say no in front of them.
Well, you can tell me your dad didn't help you pick out a computer.
That was later on.
Oh, yeah. When it started getting
What if-
serious.
I mean that, but also like when I started, it was just a little laptop that I couldn't do the scroll because I didn't have a mouse.
Yeah.
I used the trackpad and then the keys, but you have to do it simultaneously because you do it at the same time. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and the keys they weren't even working at that one. It was a
Yeah.
really bad laptop. But you know what? You're like 13, 14 years old then, so
Actually, I think it might have been like 10 when I first started.
not streaming. I wouldn't you be online
On
at that
YouTube.
time. Not at that time. I did not let you get an
Maybe,
account.
okay,
until-
maybe it was 13.
Yeah, you had to be at least 13. I
Yeah.
play by the rules.
Yeah.
You didn't have a Facebook account until you legally could have a Facebook account.
Yeah.
And then I monitored it. That's just the way I am because that's a dad thing to do, right?
Yep.
Yep. It's a wifey thing to do too, or a mommy thing to do, right?
Yep.
Yep. So, you went through the game things. You started getting a new computer. You started streaming. What's you use some kind of, you actually have a program that you use that captures your screen plus your video at the same time. What was it? The OD?
OBS.
OBS.
Yeah,
that's
around the time when I started, it was the kind of the go-to program to go to for that.
Mhm.
Like another friend of mine talked about that as well.
Well, it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
Open source, right?
Yep.
So when you were doing that, what was the first thing that all of a sudden you noticed that you could start doing voices? Was it during the streams, or was it prior to that, or?
Doing the voices?
Yeah, because you used to do them on the videos when you were recording too, right?
Not really.
Oh, you did Scooby Doo a lot.
Not for recording.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't do a lot of voices on my YouTube channel or anything like that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought your intros always had some kind of DJ voice. Welcome to SD Jason.
I mean, kind of, but not really.
So what voices do you do? What's your favorite ones to do?
I can't. I'm not really confident enough to say I can actually do any of them right
Okay.
now. I just been kind of just practicing a few.
Yeah, can you throw a few at me?
I don't know if I can at the moment.
Oh, Peter, come on.
Hey, Peter.
There you go. That's where you do it.
Yeah, I like doing some of just from random like celebrities and stuff too. But I don't know. I
I
can't.
didn't understand that.
A lot of like celebrities and all that.
Oh,
stuff too.
celebrities.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know I can do. Hey, oh, Company Frog here. It's not very good, but it's still.
Yeah, I got a more back to the show.
Show me.
Hi, welcome at the Frog here. Welcome to the show today.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I thought the one that I thought that was the best was wasn't you that first one I ever heard do like Fred from Scooby Doo or something like that, or
Oh, it was I think Shaggy.
the different Shaggy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
It was more of like Matthew Lillard's Shaggy.
Okay.
Because like the original with his Casey Kasem. was
Casey
more of a-
Kasem.
Sorry, Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Was more like refined in actual voice, where Matthew Lillard's is more of like Matthew Lillard's I think his last name is is more of just like a scratchy type of voice to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know Casey Kasem, he did the voice of Robin on the Super Friends cartoons.
Mhm.
He also did, I think he did the voice of Aquaman. There was a few other ones that he did that I was really surprised that he did. Do you know of any other ones?
Not offhand, but I know there's quite a few that was surprising and really cool to find out.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of stuff.
Same thing with the guy that voices Fred too.
Fred. Oh, from
Scooby Doo. Yeah.
I'm just looking some stuff up. Casey Kasem. Let's see. Take a look at a few things. Let's see. What did he do?
I know originally he was from a radio show.
Yeah. Well, American Top 40, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the one we used to watch or listen to all the time when we were kids?
That when we stopped at the gas station on Sunday morning, that I heard Casey Kasem's voice on the radio. They were playing the top 40 countdown.
Yeah, they're rebroadcasting a lot of that stuff, especially on Sirius XM. They do that. They also do the Paul Harvey as well. And now you know the rest of the story, right? So I didn't realize this. I'm looking at it right now. He was a character voices for Peter Cottontail in the Rankin-based production of Here Comes Peter Cottontail. He appeared in The Incredibles 2, headed transplant. In 1973 to 1985, Casey voiced Robin for several of the Super Friends franchise shows, and in 1980 he voiced Mary in The Return of the King. Really? He also voiced Alexander Cobalt III in Josie and the Pussycats. Wow.
Okay.
Let's see. There's a lot of other stuff he did. He was in the Hardy Boys. He imitated Columbo. Let's see. He was a golf commentator in Charlie's Angels. Wow. So there's a lot of weird stuff that he did. He made a cameo in Ghostbusters, believe it or not. So, but the biggest thing was for the American Top 40, right? So he did a lot of that stuff. He also helped found the American Video Awards.
Okay.
Wow, that's kind of different because I thought that was all Dick Clark, right? His goal was to make it into the Oscars of music videos. Never made it. There was only 5 awards shows. The final show aired in 1987. So that's Casey Kasem. You know, Rick Dees was another one we used to listen to a lot when I was younger because I worked at a music store called Musicland at the time. You remember that?
Yes.
And we had these Rick Dees weekly top 40, and we had the cassettes that were sent to us about his top 40. We got them a week in advance, so I knew what it was going to be before it was aired on the radio. And Rick Dees actually did a song called Disco Duck. You remember that?
I don't think so.
Wifey's too young. She's very
Whatever.
young. You're a lot younger than I am. That's a compliment. Don't get mad. So Casey Kasem wasn't your biggest influence. Who was the one that you liked the most for voiceover? Wasn't it the guy that does does all the continents or whatever?
Yeah. Rob Paulson is
Rob
one of my
Paulson.
idols for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get into that kind of stuff? Where did you listen to that? Was it on cartoon shows, or what is it that you decided you want to start looking about voice actors?
I'm not entirely sure. I just know I liked hearing voices from like watching cartoons and stuff and trying to imitate it.
Uh-huh.
But I guess the only time I like looked more into the actual voice acting was when I saw a lot of like documentaries or YouTube videos talking about that stuff.
Uh-huh. Your dad had no influence at all in directing that, huh?
I mean, not that I can recall. I'm not going to deny that that's a possibility, but
Jess Harnell. Rock Sugar.
Yeah, I know who Jess Arnell is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he worked with Rob Paulson a few times too.
Yeah. Yeah. Who was it? The other one we watched some VO Weekly. Chuck Duran.
Yeah, Chuck Duran.
And his girlfriend or wife or partner Stacy, she actually does a lot of stuff for Disney.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So voice acting is definitely something you're looking at for in your future.
Correct. Yeah.
You want to be a stand-up comedian.
Mhm.
So tell me a joke. Be funny.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
So are you a situational comedian, or are you somebody that comes up with bits or stories?
What I wanted to kind of do is a little bit of both, because I thought like what way a good setup is like you start off with like just like a bit of like a cheesy kind of jokes, and then get into more of what the versions I like, which is more of a storytelling.
Okay.
Because for some reason I tend to gravitate more of like the life situational and storytelling jokes than just the regular just one-offs, because if you go into a show and you're only getting just bits and pieces, you get sitting there kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, for like 5 seconds.
Yeah. What about crowd work? Is this something that you're interested in as well?
I mean, I don't know.
Have you seen crowd work though, right? Where somebody, hey, what's your name? Where you been? You know, what do you do for a living type thing? Or
Right, and I'm sure, because I do like a bit of like the crowd, crap, what's the words? Pretty much like getting the crowd involved.
Yeah.
But I've also seen how
Interaction.
crowd interaction.
yeah.
But also seen where it can go completely awry as well.
Oh yeah, big time. You can get heckled like you would not believe.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily against. Well, I don't like heckling, but I'm also not scared of heckling.
Yeah.
It's just that for some reason, all the ones I've seen that is crowd interactions is to pretty much heckle them instead, and I don't want to be known as
The
somebody
mean comic.
that. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't want to be the mean guy.
Yeah.
Right.
I know when I played in bands for 40 plus years on stage, I did a lot of crowd interaction with people in between songs and stuff like that. Sometimes it was funny, sometimes it's not. Right?
Especially when it was about me.
Wait a minute now, wifey. Come on. I think towards the end I was pointing you out merely so that the women would leave me alone. Yeah, that was a joke, by the way. Is that one of those things where it's a yeah. No? So, well, you've seen it. What did you think when I was out on stage and talking with people? What was the shiny moments for me?
I think it was your vulnerability and your openness about your faith.
Mm-hmm. That was later in the life, though, right? So,
Yes.
Yeah. When I first started out, I had grand delusions delusion, I guess would be the better word, that I was going to be a big rock star, right? But try to be a rock star in Marshfield, Wisconsin, standing 6'6", 400 pounds. And this was before the Jelly Roll and all these, and those guys were famous. You know, you did not fit the typical mold when I was playing out, because back then it was Bon Jovi, Skid Row, things like that. You had the thin, skinny, long-haired,
dudes in tights, yeah,
spandex kind of guys, right? And that wasn't me. And then came the whole Nirvana wave. Right, and then the angry 90s was a big thing, and the angry 2000s, everybody was mad about everything.
Grunge movement.
Grunge, yeah. And then they stopped really making good genres of music. I mean, it was like, when I was growing up, we went from Bon Jovi, Skid Row, Rat, Great White, things like that, to then it went to Iron Maiden, which Iron Maiden was around forever, but they finally got more exposure because of Metallica and Slayer. That stuff. I always call that angry rock, right?
Yeah.
You put your middle finger up in the air type thing, kind of stuff. And then it kind of the music kind of went weird for a while there. You didn't know if it was rap or if it was rock, and
it was definitely more experimental.
like Limp Bizkit and stuff like that, and Kid Rock.
Yeah.
And then Eminem came around, and then you had that blurred thing of rap versus R&B versus white guy trash stuff, right? So,
right, yeah.
What did you listen to more when you were growing up?
None of the above.
No, it's a weird question because I don't really gravitate to just one genre. I don't really ground myself for that. I'm not gonna be one of those people to be like, oh, listen to everything, because I'm sure there'd be songs out there that I don't care for,
Right.
but I don't compare myself to a genre. But if I have to say what I most listen to was just a lot of like the kind of like the hair bands, really, kind of like the Bon Jovi, that type of stuff.
Isn't that funny how kids tend to listen to the things that their parents listen to when they're younger?
Well, I mean, that's probably based off of what they're exposed to.
Right.
So, yeah.
So if you would have been exposed to country, you'd been doing a lot of country. You know, we didn't listen to a lot of country back then. I do now. But now I listen to more Christian rock than anything. And it's weird to call it Christian rock. I listen to rock that are played by Christians, I guess, is a better way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Right? But it's and that kind of leads me to our last topic before we close out the podcast is that we do have a couple other podcasts that we're creating. One of them is called Sick of Being Fat 2. And that kind of explores my journey of me going through my weight loss surgery, kind of the downfalls of what it did, and some of the things they don't tell you, but then also some of the positive things that can come out of it and work with, and even some direction of how to make things better in life. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe we'll put a link in our podcast or something. I'm not sure. And then the second. The third podcast, I guess you'd call it, is the one that we're going to be putting together is called the Ministry Corner. And that's from a ministry I called Finding Salvation. And we're going to be talking about talking with ministry partners, some pastors, some musicians that are Christian, not necessarily Christian musicians, in the direction of what's going on with of the music scene for the worship side of it. It's kind of a dark side right now because you got people like some of the Christian artists that are being paid a ton of money to perform worship songs. And, we'll explore that direction of, is that what needs to be done? I mean, these people are, and I hate to use the word, but it's like they're being pimped out to perform.
I guess the more correct term would be selling out.
I wouldn't say selling because they're still standing on their faith, right? And they're still performing Christian music.
Okay.
But their agents and their booking agents are putting them into arenas and auditoriums that fit thousands and thousands of people now, charging an arm and a leg to get in.
Okay.
And then in the promoters, I know because I worked trying to get some of the promoters, they're getting $25,000 for 90 minutes. That's just, to me, where is that money go to? Is it going back into their ministry? If that's the case, then fine. But a lot of times it's not. And so there's some musicians out there that, I don't know if you want to say, utilizes the vulnerability of people
Take advantage of.
Yeah, take advantage of it because it's a Christian direction.
Right.
But there's some that do really well. I mean, Mac Powell, for number one, he's awesome. I love Mac. He's a crazy guy. But he lives out in Nashville, and he tried doing an album that was a country album and didn't go anywhere. And he ended up being booked in places that were mainly Christian festivals, trying to play his country crossover, and just didn't make it, right? But then he goes back and comes back into the faith side of it, creates a whole new CD or new album, and he ends up playing Red Rock and sells out the place, and it's like crazy stuff, touring with his family. Matthew West is another one. He's got a great podcast. He's got a great direction. And I think, Chase, you got the one that I think is the best. What's his name? From Skillet? Cooper?
Yeah, it's like John Cooper.
John Cooper. I mean,
Yeah.
he stands pretty hefty on his faith, right?
Oh, yeah, he is very vocal about that, and that's kind of one of the things that I think is pretty cool about something like that, especially since that he likes to play in things that isn't always just Christian based, but he kind of but he kind of sticks with his faith pretty strong with what he does.
Yeah. And the thing is that his music is there, but it's not, he's not selling his music through his faith. He's not selling his faith through his music. When he does something as Cooper stuff, right, or whatever, that's what his topic is about Christian faith and what he sees in life today. But then when it comes to the Skillet, that music is Skillet music. It's not something that he's crossing over or making one bigger than the other, or using one to make the other one bigger.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's going to be it for our podcast today. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think it went pretty good, right?
Right.
So I'm Papa TJ, and to my left is
Wifey.
Kristen, and then to my right is
Chase.
Chase. Chase is on the case.
I have a better name than that, right? So that's
Can't. Hey, you know what? I picked that name, so that's a good thing. All right. Well, thank you for our first podcast. This is What to Do. We will be having a couple more coming out. Our next one's going to be more about how we research the podcast, and then also we've got one that's coming up about planning a Super Bowl party, right?
Right.
Right, Wifey?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody, and thanks for joining in with us. Make sure you like and subscribe so we can make sure we keep this going, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right. See ya.